The best and the greatest day to be alive is today. And welcome to Living Unchained Podcast. I am your host, Jay Melane, also known as Wise. I am the author of the book Where, also known as the Tech Innovator.
And I am your other host. I am Lekeisha. I am an author, coach, and trainer. And
Come
the
on now.
author of I Am How to Get Unstuck, Confused to Focus.
All right, now, she dropping 24 Karat Gold Bars indeed. And this is the place where we break cycles and build freedom. So, family, welcome to this amazing podcast today. And family, we're going to be talking about stopping self-sabotaging and finally breaking cycles. So just trust me right now, this is going to be an amazing episode. We're going to be real here, and we need y'all guys to tune in and also comment as well. But since I said that, I just need y'all guys to subscribe, hit the like button, and definitely share. Hey, we're a community here, and the Break Free Nation is here for you. So y'all guys go to our website, livingunchainedpodcast.com, and I was saying there's 2 memberships. There's 1 membership, definitely free. You can join up and get newsletters and all type of information there. Then we have another one that is a paid subscription that we go in live, have study sessions, have giveaways, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So you definitely want to meet out. So definitely join the Break Free Nation today. Family, before we go into this amazing conversation today, I want to make sure I gave you Did You Knows. So let's go ahead and start that. All right. Did you know that according to the Natural Science Foundation, the average person has about 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts per day? Wow. And of those, 80% are negative and 95% are repetitive. Whoa, come on now, folks. All right, so did you know while helping others release dopamines, the hyper high, failures to set boundaries lead to compassion, fatigue. Researchers show that high empathy without boundaries actually decrease our ability to make good decisions. All right, now, okay, and one more. Did you know that neuroscience let me say it again. Did you know neuroscience prove you can physically rewire your brain at any age? It's called neuroplasticity. Every time you challenge a negative thought, you can physically build a new bridge to your brain. Come on now. It's that 24 Karat Gold Bars indeed. So family, want to go ahead and give you Did You Knows, and we want to jump into this amazing discussion. We had on our last podcast, those who have not checked out, definitely go back and check out our last podcast, episode 10, where we talk about safe places, and we had amazing conversations with some amazing life coaches that had experience in some of the stuff, and all of us was sharing stuff. And and this is like it's an off take of this. And the first thing I want to actually address is dealing with the enemy within, self-sabotage. And there's a problem here. Let me identify real quick. We internalize the voices of our past, our parents, teachers, buddies, and go on, and turn them into our internal voices. This leads to self-sabotage, cause a feeling of unsafe and unfamiliarity. And let me talk about that because definitely in the book entire Where that I'm the author of, you'll find out immediately some of the challenges I had. And one of the challenges I had was actually my ability to learn in school for its reading and spelling and stuff like that. So I had a very bad challenge that experience at home with dealing with my father actually made it worse. And I'm not gonna go in detail, but from that experience with my dad, it caused me to be very anxious, and I had that fear of failure. So I felt like if I didn't get it right the first time, there was going to be some type of consequence, and I didn't want to. It just in general, just dealing with that as a young age, and but as I went through it, I know other young kids have went through it and are going through it in the shoe. You might be going through it as an adult. And the challenges of the self-sabotage, when somebody plants something in your head and you take it as being what I call the gospel in fact. And what caused me to do is a lot of things I wanted to do, I didn't do because I defeated myself at the beginning because I thought I wasn't capable enough or able to do these things because of an experience I had in my past. And I realized everything got to be perfect. It doesn't be perfect. There ain't no need of me do it. I ain't going to put it out there because some kind of consequence or something going to happen from it. And that's going to be so far from reality. So when we talk about self-sabotage, people will say things, people will bring things in your head, put things in your head, and you'll think it's being reality. So I want to encourage people is, if them things there, definitely deal with the standpoint of working on yourself, working on your confidence. And I was able to, in time, through, like I said, great support, working with myself. And as I mentioned before, when you get into those safe places, the place where you can grow, then when you get a good network of people that you can actually get your best interest, going to be real, but also not trying to tear you down, but their goal is to build you up. And once I realized that and I got the confidence, then I'm able to do stuff, even including this podcast, got the confidence of doing stuff. And I get stuck on words every now and then. Now, you just heard it earlier when I did Your Nose. But guess what? It is what it is. I'm who I am. I'm comfortable who I am. And guess what? I am successful as who I am as well. So with that being said, that problem of that the internal voices that come from the past that stick with us, that remind us of some things that can cause us to actually fall back. So Coach Lekeisha, I want you to dive in and let us know, do you have any experiences like that with the self-sabotage voice in your head? And then, of course, as you being the amazing coach as you are, you can share any pointers or anything like that. So Queen, the microphone is yours.
Thank you so much, King Wise. When I tell you self-sabotage, this is something that a lot of us, we do, and we don't recognize we do. A lot of the self-doubts and the fears of not getting something right, is really a process that a lot of us are dealing with. I remember dealing with this, definitely, and that's something I dealt with very young. Just pretty much saying that I'm not good enough. I can't. I'm not great at doing anything difficult. You're not smart enough. And you would keep repeating those processes over and over again. And you will begin to believe it. Number one, first of all, this is what I'm saying. You will believe it by not defending yourself in the sense of not physically, but in your mind, you will say, you know what? You're right. I don't have time for that. Let me not deal with that. Right? No, I don't, why even try? Why even try? Have you said that a lot? I remember saying that. I would not try. Now I won't take that back. I would not move forward into a new level of leadership or a responsibility because in my mind, I felt like I was not good enough. I was not smart enough. I can't do it. And you repeatedly saying that to yourself, even when you're qualified, why even bother? I would say, why even bother? And that was just a self-sabotaging mechanism of myself, a protection that why even do that? Why do you don't want to be hurt? And nobody's doing anything to you, but you're not even trying. You're saying no without even being asked to do something. Let me just not even go ahead and actually bid into that promotion because I'm not good enough, even though you qualified, right? But I would tell myself I can't because of the fear of being the fear of being rejected.
Come on now.
you know, instead of just doing it anyways. We really do have to do things afraid, but we'll get into that later. But you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But it's just that process. I would tell that to myself, wise, for years,
Mm-hmm.
decades. Okay. Constantly over and over again. Even though I could do it, I would say I'm not good enough. And unfortunately, that is a pattern that a lot of us stay in for years, decades. Yeah.
Yeah, come on
So
now.
yeah, we'll go into those solutions because it is a process, family. But yeah, you know, it you can do this. And I'm a go-getter of saying I'm your cheerleader. I will tell people you can do it because I remember when I told myself I couldn't do something, I had that invisible prison, moving forward. But I talk about that in my latest book, family, How to Get Unstuck, Confused to Focus. Just put that plug out there. But yeah, I understand
Come on now.
exactly what this is, family. And I promise you, we're going to break free nation for sure. So,
There you go. There you go. 24 Karat Gold Bars dropped indeed. And yeah, like you said, you mentioned it, and I believe you have a segment in your book that actually addressed the standpoint of self-sabotage. But we won't, as we continue to talk about this, it's a big thing, and a lot of coaches, a lot of people have made a lot of had a lot of the whole coaching practice is about self-sabotage. It's that experience that you had when you're little, no matter how small or how big it is. Like again, we were talking about last week, we were talking about safe spaces. Bruce Limpton book, the biology of belief, where they talk about when the cells in one thing is in a very toxic negative environment, didn't grow. But when you put the same cells in another environment that was very positive, it was increasing in the growth. And the thing is, a lot of times we as people put, in its youth, we get sometimes exposed to an environment that's real toxic that causes us to have these memories. You know what I'm saying? It may be deep in there, but it's there. And it's a minor, it causes what I call them mental pains. And you reflect and cause you not to move forward. It's that flight and fear thing, right? I'm not going to move forward because I don't want this feeling, like you said, the rejection to happen again. And that feeling don't feel good. And sometimes, we have to learn how to press through feelings and stuff, like realize, okay, that was just in the past. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't define what we have today. And I had to go through that. I had to go through that whole entire phase. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. I'm going to bring up something that's very important dealing with self-sabotage, and that's dealing with humility and self-deprecation. You know what I'm saying? And I want to have a discussion between the two. It's a difference between humility and I call it self-deprecation, and why people are so feeling so comfortable putting themselves down. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between humility. And I want to address that because I was very guilty of that at one time, being very guilty of difference between being the humility part and when somebody get a compliment, man, say, oh man, you did an awesome job. No, I didn't. It wasn't that good. Man, oh man, you did it great. No. That man's it's just average. You're trying to show humility, but actually what you're doing is putting a negative spin on a situation that bring out a negative vibe and negative energy. And what we say, we take it hard to take compliments. Now today I take a compliment, no problem. The thing of humility is that you don't exalt yourself above a situation or above a person. And Paul calls that, puff up. Don't be what's in the Bible, puff up. Know the words. You're putting yourself above somebody and making somebody lower. The thing of humility is, hey, we all in the same playing field. Hey, thank you. I recognize I did the job I did was great. I appreciate that. I honor that. But you don't put yourself like, yeah, I'm the man. You're less than. You know what I'm saying? You wish you could. That's not humility. That's arrogance and being a jerk. But then you have the part when the self defecation, and that is you put yourself. You call yourself being humble, but really then you're talking negative to yourself. And I want to get the people to recognize you don't have to talk negative. When somebody get a compliment, just recognize this and say thank you. I recognize that. I appreciate that. And you move forward. You don't have to use that tone of putting yourself down to call yourself equal and playing field. Just recognize the moment and accept the moment and say thank you. You know what I'm saying? And acknowledge and realize, and the humility part is that we all on the same playing field. And you know what I'm saying? You recognize the person who recognized the greatness in you.
Hey family, I am Lekeisha, and I want to talk to the ones that are feeling stuck. You know, the ones that are feeling like you are in confusion, like you're feeling like you're in fear, like you having a season of loss of clarity and without confidence. Listen, my latest book, How to Get Unstuck, Confused to Focus, is truly for you. It was written for the ones that are feeling just like you're feeling, very confused, with no motivation, without a roadmap. And I'm giving you a roadmap. Grab your copy of your book. And I promise you, this book is really going to change your life. It's going to show you how you can have your purpose and understand that you have power, which you truly do. If you're in midlife, if you're someone who are transitioning from careers, if you're someone who's trying to figure out what's your next move, this book is really going to help you, and it's going to show you how you can break free from the mental clutter, how you can have divine clarity, and you can understand how you can move forward and understand to have a strategy and move forward ahead. Promise you, it's going to be great for you. Grab your copy, show it to someone else, because I promise you, you're not by yourself. Let's not move through the world without understanding who you are, because you have power. Have your power and focus with this latest book.
You know what I'm saying? Or the God greatness in you, however you want to see it. And the humility is we all on the equal playing field. Yes, some people got great talents and they got the great gifts, but that don't elevate you above somebody else, because you know soon the gift comes, the gift can also go away, one form or another. And like they say, you're on the top of the mountain, you eventually they go down. But we climbing the mountain together, we all rise together, then we all go down together, but we won't realize what level we're on because we're all together. That's the difference. The different humility of it, you know what I'm saying? Because some people get up here and then all down here, you know, everybody else down here, you know what I'm saying? There's no humility there. It's a difference between humility, being humility, not being above somebody else. It's different between also being arrogant and confident. It's great to be confident, knowing your worth. Understanding your worth. You know what I'm saying? You go in a room, you understand the value you have in yourself, that you are a unique creature. There's nobody like you. Nobody has your fingerprints. Never forget it. Coach Antonio Atlantis Thompson talked about that. He came on one of our platforms and he talked about that. There's, you got unique fingerprints, your unique eye prints. It's nobody like you. So why you go in the room and you're just going to put yourself below? You don't do that. You have the confidence to realize that you are here. You are here for a reason and a purpose. What that person's purpose is may be totally different, but you're here for a purpose. Represent that purpose that God has for you. If you don't know that purpose, then you need to work in yourself to get an understanding what your life purpose is, and you start working towards some things. And that where a coach come in or somebody can come in to give you great counsel. So, Coach, you jump in real quick. You dropped some 24 Karat Gold Bars earlier. I'd love to hear your thoughts about that. With definitely dealing with humility and self-deprecation.
You know, that is so amazing. I'm loving that you said that. I was thinking about a couple of things you were saying. A lot of times we are, protecting ourselves, from the bully that maybe tortured us. I'm going to say tortured us when we were younger. I'm just keeping it real. They may have said some things to us, you ugly, you stupid, you blah, 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 blah. Remember those things. And, those are hurtful, right? Then mind you, we're talking about a bully. What if it is a family member? What if it's somebody that's real close to you that's saying the same things, right? And sometimes you hear those things, and you're fearful. You don't know how to come back at it because you don't know what to say. You're like thinking like, are they right? Are they true? And a lot of times, you find out later in life, that those bullies, those people that were really doing those things to you, they were actually, really that the same situation was happening either to them or they were really, that's all they knew because of their environment. So they really didn't know how to speak positive to you or whatever, so you don't know that until later on. And a lot of times because you go through that cycle, and you don't get the help that you need, or telling somebody that you can trust that this is happening, that you are feeling some type of way, you bottle that up inside, you know, and you begin to really think that you're not enough. And that's when, honestly, why when you start to lose your identity, you really don't know how to do it. So really, you're really binding yourself up. So you really got to go through this process to really understand that that has nothing to do with you, that has to do with somebody else, even if they're the
Mm-hmm.
closest person to you and your family that that's happening to. And a lot of times we kind of stop, justifying those situations when it happens. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of times, yeah, like you said, therapy, sometimes you need to have somebody to help you out with that. And sometimes you have the family to help you out, or solutions to help you out, but sometimes you don't get it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you begin to self-sabotage yourself, and you just don't excel up, and you don't try, and we think those are failures. There is no failures. It's just
Come on now.
lessons. But you
Come
learn
on
that
now.
later in life. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times we have to say that too. And you grow up thinking that if you don't get it right the first time, that's a problem. No, actually, if you stop and don't try again, that's when the real problem happens, when you don't try again. And a lot of times we have to really change, our verbiage and change our outlook on those things. And we can get into this because a lot of times it's a personality thing, because
Come on now.
sometimes, when you're an introvert or extrovert, you really got to know that too. Sometimes they just really don't have the capacity to really deal with it, or to really take that time to deal with it. So that's a whole conversation too. But a lot of
Yeah.
times we have to get to know people. Sometimes that person just are not able to, they're not built to really handle whatever you got going on, or they do. And you just need to pray for them. Or maybe they did not reach the mark in your spirit, because they're all human. You need to really just give them the grace and give it to the Lord. But we can talk about that later as well too. But it's like, wow, you know what I'm saying? We have to go through those episodes. But we're talking about people. People are people. I believe Lecrae, he has a song. I believe it's Lecrae that has a song out there talking about people. Is it Lecrae? It's
Uh,
somebody that has a song out there. But they were just talking about people, when you're dealing with different types of people around you, and that you have to really understand that people are unique. God made them unique for a reason, because they're all supposed to be different. It's great to know people, and you can choose, what you want to choose to continue on to. But there are choices. But people, you need to give people grace and give people love, to understand that they are growing this life just like you. So you have to really be positive with this. So that's what I want to say about that. But that was a lot.
okay.
That's it.
With that being said, you mentioned the standpoint of, it's not a failure, it's a lesson. So it's a
Yes.
lesson, and that's one thing in life we got to understand with ourselves, that things going to happen and the outcome may not come the way we want to. So what you do, you learn from that situation. You take the lesson there, and you take the process, and what you do is you work towards and see how this cannot happen again, or you put a process in place, or you look for counsel, or you look for things. And you don't have to self-sabotage. You don't have to build this memory of anxiety up or depression up and say, you know what, this will not happen, this ain't gonna never work. Who told you that? The question is, who told you that it's never gonna work? It's that past experience, it's the information. And the thing, and you see that a lot of successful people in lives, because this is Living Unchained, a lot of successful people, what they do is they have a lot of challenges, a lot of things that come up, but they don't take those failures, what we call failures, what they're taking is opportunities to actually try again, or revamp, make an assess, and they go at it again. They get back up. And go at it. And what I want to encourage people, it's not the end. You still got life in your brother, in your let me say it, it's a life in your body. You still have opportunity to make it happen. And what we want to do, like you said, is extend that grace. We don't want to judge somebody because of a self-sabotaging situation. Because we can self-sabotage ourselves, and we'll feel rejected and stuff. And we will see a person like that, and we'll judge them instead of, like you said, praying for them, reaching out and giving an ear and encourage them that they can go to the next place. That's very powerful of how we can empower somebody just from our words and just from our presence. And self-sabotaging don't have to be something that taking us down. I want to go ahead and move on to another thing I want to talk about, and that is establishing boundaries. And it's very important because when I was talking about earlier with me and the failures and stuff, it went into when I got older in my relationships with people in general, when women, and just relationship with with my friends in general, and not have boundaries because as I mentioned before, I had what I call this superhero complex that I want to fix stuff. And I think, and hey guys, in the comment, raise your hand. Y'all understand where I'm coming from. Everything was a project. You wanted to make sure things are right. Most male are what we call it, task oriented. They wanted to resolve and fit something. And some things does not require us to do that. Sometimes you just have to be patient, wait, you need to just listen and stuff. So we had to learn how to set boundaries. And I learned that later on by setting boundaries. And as I mentioned last week in the safe space, I would put myself, I was crossing the boundaries and going to somebody else's space, and I'll live in their life. I'll live in their situation, and I felt crowded, and I didn't feel like not myself because it wasn't my environment. It wasn't me. And what you want to do is you want to meet somebody. So that's what we call a shared space. But now these days we call flex spaces shared spaces. And those in corporate America, we know that got a whole lot of shared spaces out there. And we share spaces, but it's still your space over there, and there's another space right there, but it's a shared environment. But you still have a part where it's you, and not all the other person. And what we want to understand, there's a boundary there that we personally don't need to cross for ourselves. Then also you don't want others. So with that, I want to make sure I bring up this problem. Usually come along with establishing boundaries. We think boundaries are mean or selfish. We fear rejection, as you mentioned before. So we let people trample our gardens. And when I say the garden, us. And when we don't have boundaries, we bred resentment, and that's true because it's all internal for us. And when we set boundaries and we adjust in fear because we don't want to hear a negative thing, and sometimes, well, I'll put myself as an example. When I was in this relationship that ended up turning real toxic and stuff, I always say yes because I wanted what the word I use, and I share this in many other platforms I was on as well. I want to keep the peace. I didn't want to cause no drama. I didn't want to hear no outcome. I didn't want to hear no fuss and stuff. I just want to be chilling. You know what I'm saying? And the standpoint of what we call fear, it wasn't really fear. I just wanted my peace. And I knew as I said no, then I had to explain this, explain that, and stuff like that. And sometimes, and that's toxic. That's a toxic environment. You should feel comfortable to be able to say no, or you should feel comfortable to say yes. And that, maybe that is an explanation, but you should feel comfortable. You should not feel like, man, my peace can be taken away. And peace also is controlled by, it's the godly peace that God gave you, but it's peace that we internal within, and you have control of that peace. You can let people trample your peace, or you can you can put boundaries. Play, hold up, you're going a little too far. There was a situation. I know you're gonna laugh, and a person asked me. I'll never get it. The person asked me to say, "Hey, we go and I share this with you. Share with you. Where I come from." And the person said, "Hey, I like to get something to eat. I love to share. I like to share this with you." Immediately, I said, "No." The old men were like, "Yeah, okay, let's do that. Let's share and all that stuff like that." No, I ain't feel like sharing. I don't know why I want to share it. And not being selfish, because we're talking about being mean and selfish. It wasn't that moment of time, and it's okay to say no. That the person wasn't offended. The person had to start laughing because the person knew me. So the thing is, I didn't feel like sharing. And sometimes in opportunities come on, you do want to share, but that moment I didn't want to share. So I say no. The past me want to make everybody happy and feel good. So what I do, what I cause resentment, I would say, yes, let's do that. And I might have not been feeling that. Or, at that moment, I wasn't that, but I say yes to it. And I built up a resentment because I didn't want to hear what happened. That I say no. And then, I let somebody come across my boundaries. You get what I'm saying? And now I'm free. I speak my mind now. So I speak my mind in respect. I want to make sure I made that clear. In respect. Because you can speak your mind and be nasty about it. I wasn't nasty about it. I was just on about the no, but my energy wasn't negative. So that way the person could receive it because I was not being mean or that is saying what we call selfish. If somebody hold that over your head and they really don't know you, then it's time. If that's on the individual. If you're being selfish, that's on the individual. But I know I wasn't being selfish. I just didn't want to share. Don't mean a person didn't get a chance to do what they want to do, whatever it is. I just didn't want to share at that moment. So with that being said, it's a respectful way you can do those things. So what's your thought process on talking about boundaries, being mean, being selfish, dealing with rejection, and dealing with resentment? Love to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, you know what? That is so interesting. Honestly, let me keep it real. You should be able to talk, and say what you feel. And if you're talking about, your boundaries, when you're talking about somebody, let's just say somebody very close to you, you should be able to have a one-on-one conversation and it should be received, your viewpoint, like you're talking about food. You should be able to, talk to that person if they're close to you, if it's a partner next to you, and say, hey, this is an item that I really like. I love this food and I really just want to eat this food. Now, mind you, if you want something like that, you can have it too. But this particular one, I just want to eat this on my own, but we can share this later. Maybe it's just a conversation. Now, the conversation piece needs to happen, and you shouldn't feel bad for saying that you want to, eat it on your own, but really it's just a conversation. So mind you, I feel that if that person should be, able to accept that it's not a no, it's just not a right now. You can't have this right now because I really want to eat this. That person should be able to respect that. You know what I mean? But, that's just a conversation that needs to happen. Now, mind you, it'd be great to say that nicely versus, in a not in a negative way. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't help you there. If you say it in a negative way, you might get a different response from that person. I don't know if they relate. So it should be somebody, you should be able to reflect on that. But at the same time, you shouldn't feel bad for having those boundaries, saying, listen, I personally just want to eat this on my own. So you just got to just speak your truth and just talk to that person versus just saying, no, I don't want this. And then not having a reason why. I feel that every person deserves respect in that way for understanding why you don't want to do it. So how they receive that is not on you, but you explain the reason why you want it. You know what I'm saying? So, but, you got to understand that particular person you're talking to. So I don't know. You're just like, nah, you can't handle it. I don't know. They may not receive it or may they receive it well. So it just depends. But you should not feel bad for having the boundaries of saying that you do want to eat whatever you want to do. If it's food, if it's just a project, whatever it is, or if it's sleep or whatever, anything like that, whatever you want to share, you should be able to feel free to have your buy-in on what you're going to say. And that person, if they care about you, they should be able to receive that. So
come on now. That's for the boy Karat Gold Bars dropped in D. Let me mention this, and the only thing I will add, I will say, I should have said, not this time. No, I did not. That's a good one right there. I'll remember that this time. Not this time. Not this time. Or maybe next time. You know what I'm saying? So So thank you for adding something to the reservoir. So no, but the person did not take it negative because, like you said, the person know me. One thing that one of my friends, who was a very good coach, very good life coach, what he actually taught is the ability to just write down, the power of journaling. You're big about the power of journaling and the selfless plug, people. If you actually in the Break Free Nation, you're definitely able to, download the power of journaling. That full book is there for people there. They have as a guide to help them write and stuff. So with that being said, going back to the standpoint of what this coach talked about, he talked about actually writing down your boundaries for yourself, your boundaries for your partner or your spouse, your boundaries that you have for even your parents, because you're talking about being grown. Boundary with friends, boundaries with community. He said, break it down in situations, but not just boundary what other folks do, the boundaries that you won't cross. So therefore, you familiar what you are, who you are in your core, and your core values. What it does is define your core values, and when you define your core values, when people go across that, it brings a red flag, and you're able to address, like you said, the biggest thing you said was communication, having that communication one another, to hear one another. Don't mean you have to agree upon it, but at least have a talking, have a communication, communicate and express yourself in a way that you have an understanding between one another. I think that's very powerful. So I would definitely recommend, if you don't understand your core values, start writing down your boundaries for yourself, boundaries for your spouse, your partner, boundaries for your children. You know what I'm saying? Boundaries for your friends, and what you willing to deal with and what you willing not to cross the boundaries for. And I think that'd be a real good solution, which takes us to this other thing we're talking about, what we talked about last week with safe spaces. Because when I was talking about safe spaces, as I mentioned earlier, I was crossing the boundary, or trespassing. The word God said, you trespass. So you trespass, you go across the line, and you actually interfering with somebody else's space and some of the stuff, and that environment is not made for you. And then you start feeling overwhelmed, you start feeling resentment and stuff, because you made this effort, and not because somebody else really put cross your line. You cross into somebody else's territory, and in somebody else's space, somebody else's world. And sometimes them things are not there for you. It's not for you to handle. It's not for you to do. So you have to set boundaries in spaces that you're not crossing, because your mindset may be totally different than somebody else. So you definitely have to do self-evaluation of yourself and make sure that you're not crossing boundaries into other people and offending other people and causing issues that it could be avoided because you made the effort to cross the line, and not because somebody else. Because we always say, somebody did something to us, and sometimes we volunteered let people in and go in their area. Then we also volunteer let people in our lives. So you got to understand your boundaries, understand them, and actually work with people. And if you don't, we have coaches. You got the amazing I Am Lekeisha, who is a life certified coach, and she definitely can help you through the standpoint of dealing with being with self-sabotage. And there's many other people out there who specialize with that as well. So, and also go to groups. There, I have an amazing men group that I go to, that we share, and we keep our stuff to ourselves. We'll stay in the group, but we share things and allow us to be men. You know what I'm saying? We don't go there and try to judge nobody. We just talk about experiences and what we do, encourage somebody. And sometimes you just want to have something, you just want to get it out and just share things. And then when you leave and go to your service space, you feel better because you're not bottled in. So I love to hear your viewpoint on the standpoint of safe spaces, as we talked about last week, and it's how to establish boundaries that actually is an act of self-love and honor the temple that God had gave us. So, Coach.
Yeah, this is awesome. Honestly, having those safe spaces are vital, for all of us to be able to create for ourselves. We need to have those. Honestly, that is rewarding yourself for you to really be able to, to flow, to breathe, whatever you need to do. Make sure you have places where you can actually be able to create. I feel that we need to have those, for ourselves, so we can be able to really think clear, so we can move forward in. Honestly, I believe that is necessary. Now, mind you, when it comes to boundaries, I really believe we need to have boundaries. I believe we need to create those boundaries on a repeated basis, because they may change, right? I feel that depending on the situation, depending on the era where you're at, maybe you have certain boundaries that did meet the need in a certain season, and they need to be updated. Okay. You know what I mean? Let's just say, for example, when children are, a certain age, well, let's just say if they're grade school, and then they're out of the house now and they're like college, or if they're, in their own families and everything like that, things change, right? So they're not young anymore. So those boundaries need to change and shift. If you're married and spouse, and your spouses, things may change, they get up in age, things will change then, sometimes boundaries will change there, maybe you need change in the sense of you may need a little bit more support, where you didn't need to have that before. So maybe they were working, maybe they had a 9 to 5, and now they're retired and they're home now. So things will change and shift. So maybe more so, I believe it's a conversation piece. Honestly, sometimes you need to have boundaries also because, you need to do things for yourself. You need to
Yes.
understand boundaries, what you need for yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
A lot of times, a lot of times we can just go on in life and doing things for others and everything. You're not even putting boundaries for yourself, having that self love for yourself, having that rest you need for yourself. It's okay for you to have rest. And guess what? It's okay for you to go do something fun for yourself. It's okay to go to the movies for yourself. It's okay to go to
Come
dinner
on
for
now.
yourself and just doing it. Not saying that you can't go with others, but it's like actually scheduling time for yourself, maybe once a week, an hour or two, and just do some things just for yourself. And you really just getting used to you, self love. And honestly, I believe, honestly, as a coach, I know how that's a vital piece that was needed just for me to rejuvenate myself, for me to have an overload.
Hmm.
Sometimes we're trying to give on an empty tank, because we're not
Yeah.
taking that time for us to soothe ourselves, for us to build each other up, getting that needed rest. I'm telling you, I can just keep going on and doing things and not getting that sleep that I need to sleep. And honestly, fam, I'm be honest with you, having those 6 to 8 hours of sleep, that's actually something that's a necessity sometimes. Because a
Indeed.
lot of times, to be honest with you, people are working off of 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours of sleep, and they think
Hmm.
they're winning. I am being a warrior because I'm sleeping less hours. No, you're not actually not doing, you're not, that's not self-love. That's a sabotage. You
Come on
know,
now.
I don't think your body is really going to help itself out when you're not given the needed rest and taking care of your temple. So it's like really setting those boundaries, is really needed. And also for our health, for fitness,
Hmm.
making sure to set that time and place for us to do the things we need to do. And honestly, just structuring your schedule. Sometimes we overwork ourselves. We're
Hmm.
doing a lot. I raising both hands here. I was doing way too much. I was not, I was work, had, my schedule was like 5 days a week for what like clients, things that I was scheduling. It was I have my Google schedule. And you know how we have set time hours where you're available. I was available for all these type of hours. So mind you, people are able to come in and just schedule certain times, right? And if
Yeah.
they will schedule times, and you're like, man, you probably shouldn't do that. The doctor really, Doctor Ian, a good mentor, told me you probably need to structure that instead of 5 days a week. You need to bring that down to two.
Mm.
You need to bring that down to two because my body literally shut down. I was doing way too much and I
Come
needed
on
to
now.
really have self love for myself. So I'm saying all that to say it's important for us to strategically have boundaries, healthy boundaries for yourself, just so you can continue on, in this life that God has given us. Manage it well.
Come on
Yeah.
now. You know what I'm about to do. 24 karat gold bars indeed. Okay, now, family, if you are enjoying this amazing episode, please subscribe, hit the like button, and definitely share. Hey, we're a community here, and the Break Free Nation is here for you. So go to livingunchainedpodcast.com, and there's links that will take you directly to that amazing community where we be dropping 24 karat gold bars indeed. So we want to thank everybody who already signed up and the ones who going to be signed up in the future because, like I said, we are a community. And family, thank you so much. So, not going to hold y'all guys. Back to this amazing episode. And I say indeed. And I love the approach. And the whole lot of thing is when we schedule time, we make these block times, we think about all the open things of how we're going to make money or how we need to be open for clients. And we don't take time for resting. And we don't take the time to actually, what we call it, meditate. We don't take the time. We need to include those time in our time block. As you adjust your schedule from the 5 days and being wide open, I understand because I had to adjust my schedule because in me being in the corporate environment, I need a lot of time for that. Me being a business owner, I need a lot of time for that. But also I need to have breaks in the action to be able to get away, to be able to have, like you said, have that wonderful dinner, to be able to go away and be able to go to maybe the movie and check out the latest flick that I desire to see, or be able to go back and watch a game or go to a game or go to a live game event. The other things you need to put in there, and it's like fellowship time, go and see friends, go be able to hang out with people and stuff. You need to put them things in your block time and schedule them things in to allow you to have what we call a level set of freedom. Don't be chained up, but living unchained. So I think that was awesome information you gave there, Coach Lekeisha, and I appreciate that. So what we're going to do is we're going to be wrapping up soon, but we want to talk about the reset and some of the action that we can take dealing with this. So let me define the problem first off. What I saw when we're talking about reset and everything. We try to change everything at once, fail, and then we hate ourselves. I was very guilty of that, trying to change everything at one swoop. The cycle of perfection. I hold my hand up. Guilty. Nobody else gonna hold their hand in the room. I hold my hand up, trying to be a perfectionist. Then fail, then being ashamed. that keep us chained, not unchained. So with that being said, I want to talk about the standpoint of forgiving ourselves, realizing everything don't have to happen immediately. So me, with the profession in my head that I don't want to make a mistake, as I mentioned earlier, and we're identifying self-sabotage and all this stuff like that. Now we get to the point of the reset. I had to have everything right, because if I didn't have everything right, what will be the consequence? Even though my dad been long gone, he been out of my life since I was 8 years old, that thing still stuck in my mind is there's a consequence if I don't get this thing right. And then I beat myself up. I feel bad. Not because the outcome became real negative and that like that, just because it wasn't the ideal profession that I thought it should be. You know what I'm saying? The ideal profession that I thought it should be. And I beat myself. I put all this stress on my body, on my mind, and my spirit. You know what I'm saying? The word of God said, cast your cares on the Lord, for he cares. I didn't cast them. I just hold them to myself, beating myself up with them. Now you look crazy. How you know you see knock yourself side of the head? That look kind of crazy, does it? Does that look crazy? So you think about it, you're doing that all the time. You're beating yourself in the head, beating yourself in your body all the time. You, like I said, the natural effect look kind of crazy, does it? And you're doing that mentally to yourself each and every day. So what we want to do, we want to talk about the reset and how to forgive yourself. The power of forgiveness is so powerful that if you miss the mark, fall short of the glory, error, there's forgiveness for that. And now, with that, there's consequences for things you don't do right. We understand that. But when you sit there and you're beating yourself up to the standpoint of shame, you're beating yourself, you can't move forward. You're beating yourself up that you can't elevate to the next, you said level, and I love to use the word, you can't go to the next place because you putting the stronghold, the lockdown on yourself. That when you have to work the power of forgiveness. The forgiveness ain't for the other person, Ashley. It's for you. It unlocks you. It frees you and allow you to move forward. Even though the consequence of the result might not be the way you want to, but you're still able to move forward. one thing I want to make sure we talk about, then we're going to jump to Coach. And this is the thing I want to apply to y'all guys. It's the 24-hour rule. You hear me say this all the time. The best and the greatest day to be alive is today. And that actually, that affirmation comes from Coach Antonio Alanis Thompson. And that's his trademark. I take it for myself. I use it every day. And the focus is it's about today. Make today the best. The 24-hour rule is not trying to fix everything you have in your life in one day. You only focus on the 24 hours. What can you do in this 24 hours? What can I do when I woke up, realize I'm alive, and just deal with that day? Word of God actually teaches this. Is you actually those who believers. If you go to Matthew 6:33, these people know this. Y'all know, y'all Bible scholars do not know this. 33, then also verse 34. And the word of God says this. It says, but seek the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. Then 34 is very powerful. So therefore, don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about its own thing. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. So the whole message there is don't focus on tomorrow. Seek God, but focus on today. See his righteousness. Focus on the day. Seek the kingdom. Focus on the day. Seek the righteousness. Focus on today. Don't go to tomorrow. Don't try to take care. Don't even go to the past. Focus on the 24 hours that you have today to make a positive thing. Don't go beyond that. What happened yesterday, it happened yesterday. Popularize it, put it away. You can't go back. You can't change it. But what you can address is what you do today. So I want to make sure I understand people. You got 24 hours in a day. Just make the best of it the best way you can. And on 24 hours, things can go haywire. But in the 24 hours, you might have a couple hours that's very challenging. It'll get you to the point where we call, maybe have a situation that brings stress or brings anxiety. But the whole 24 hours don't have to be that way. The whole 24 hours don't have to be that way. That you have a say in the 24 hours to make a positive change. So with that being said, Coach Lekeisha, come in here and drop some more 24 Karat Gold Bars indeed.
Absolutely. I believe that we really do need to give ourselves some grace. And honestly, it is really just forgiving ourselves of, episodes that we have had, in our lives. We really do need to start changing our programming, changing our words. A lot of times we are saying that I can't do this. Well, actually, no, you can do this. But if we're saying that we can't, we have to address that right there. Okay, why do you feel like you can't? Well, I believe that, remember, I don't think I did it the way that I wanted to do it before. So I feel that it's going to happen to me again. So that's something that you probably need to really think of. We have to really take accountability of what the words that are coming out of our mouths. So if we're saying this, is that true? We have to answer that question. It is not true, right? It is not true. You can do great things. You can do hard things that are really looks like it's difficult. You can do it. You can do it. Don't give up. Try it again. Have you heard that before? You can try it again. There is no such thing as a failure. It's all about lessons. Oh, wow, I didn't do it the way that I wanted to do it that time. Let me try it again. Start thinking that way versus saying, oh, wow, I didn't do it the way it was supposed to be done before. I can't do it again. Something in your mind saying that you can't do it again. Is that true? That is not true. You can do it again. Look at the creator of the light bulb. When he failed, how many times did he fail?
Over 1,000 plus. Yeah. Like 1,000 plus times.
1,000 plus times, right? And when somebody interviewed him, he's like, wow, how many times? What did he say when you finally got it done? I don't know what it was like. He said when he finally did it,
I think the
100 some.
1001, how they made it
I
say
did
like
it that
1001 and one time
it
they
took
stopped working on the 1001, something similar to that.
1,001
Yeah.
times. Yep. You know, it started. I didn't get. In other words, I didn't get. He didn't give up. He
Yes.
kept going. He didn't stop after that first time. He just kept doing it. Some people, I have to be honest with you, some people actually were like, no, I'm not doing it that many times. I'm not doing it. But you know what? He knew that it was going to work. It was so many people saying, why did you do it that many times? Are you kidding me? You shouldn't do that. But thank goodness he didn't give up. I'm glad. We can look the lights, right?
Yeah, we got the lights right now, right? You know what I'm saying?
Come on now.
I'm glad
I'm
he
so
did it over
thankful.
1,000
Over
one times.
1,000 times. I'm just saying, and so I'm just telling you, if that happened there, you can do it again.
Yes.
You're still here. I always say this as a coach. I said, listen, if you woke up today, if you still got your legs and you're still able to walk, it's some work for you to do. You're still here, right? So I feel like we need to change our perspective, our viewpoint on situations. You know, you are still here. I promise you, it's a lie from the pit telling you that you are not good, that you can't do this. I'm telling you that you can. Guess why I'm telling you? Because of my examples and my testimony of what I'm seeing, what God has done for me, and I'm still here. I'm just telling you, just take the testimony of the fact that I'm still here. Take the testimony of the fact that you are still here. Think about that. Take that and just put that right in front of you. Wow, I'm still here. I'm still breathing. I'm glad I'm still here. If that is all you have at that moment, if that's just it, just what you just said, that's all you need. And just keep going. I promise you. And you got an entourage of people. You got Break Free Nation, Living Unchained family here with you, cheering you on, saying that you can do it. You're not doing it by yourself. God said he'll never leave you nor forsake you. He intentionally created so many people out there for you, cheering you on, saying that you can do it. And even if you haven't met somebody yet the first time, they're right there praying for you right now. There's people out there praying for you. Have you ever heard that, Wise? It's like, man, I got somebody out there, they're praying for me. They're like, yeah, they literally are interceding for you right now. And you don't even realize they're praying for you. There's somebody out there praying for you. So I'm just saying that to say that as we continue to go on and continue our life, we're not doing this journey by ourselves. You have a slew of people are out there for you, out there with you, telling you that you can do it.
Come on now. 24 Karat Gold Bars, drop in the family on TND. And she mentioned again, the Break Free Nation is here for you. And those who need a place that they need to have a conversation and actually communicate and realize, hey, I do not want to continue to be in these cycles. I want to break these cycles. We are here for you. So definitely go to Living Unchained Podcast.com and more information there as well. All right. And we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the show now, this amazing episode. And I want to do this quick, I call it recap, and just give some general information, just a real quick one. Today we learned that negative thoughts is just bad habits, family. It's just bad habits. It's not failure. It's not failure. It's an opportunity to learn. It's a shift of your mindset. And if you have what we call bad habits or bad them thoughts and stuff like that, learn how to shift it to it can work for you. All right, boundaries are necessary for love. For to love yourself, you will need boundaries. So take the opportunity, take the effort, write down the boundaries for yourself, write down the boundaries for your spouse, your partner, write down the boundaries for your kids, write down for your families, your loved ones, write down for your community. You know what I'm saying? And realize what your core value is. I'm telling you, it'll change your life. And, your self-compassion, I would say, will fuel your change. Love yourself. Have confidence in yourself. Don't operate in the rejection or be afraid of rejection. But what you want to do is take the opportunity to address the moment and walk in confidence. You'll be humble. Walk in humility. That means is you don't put yourself above somebody else, but also you don't have to do no self-defecation and make yourself feel like you're lower than anybody else. Walk with the confidence as well, family. All right, Coach Lekeisha, any final words? Then on top of that, you can let people know how they can engage us.
Absolutely. So my final words is just let you know that you are belong. You are truly worthy and you can do it. Don't allow, negativities of the past or what other people are saying or anything else that is not aligning with the true calling that you have for yourself self-sabotage you for moving forward into your next season. I promise you, you're here for a reason. You can do it and you can actually move forward in it right now, family. You deserve it. And I promise you, family, I would love for each and every one of you to connect with us at Break Free Nation. Make sure you come and sign up definitely for the free version and also the paid version. I promise you it's going to be a great resources and elevation for you to move forward. We have two amazing books. We have the book called Where, and that is brought to you by our amazing author, King Wise, and also my book, How to Get Unstuck, Confused to Focus. You definitely want to get that book for yourself moving forward. I promise you those two resources are really going to catapult you to the next season and journey of your life. Thank you so much, family. And you already know, connect with each and every one of us at livingunchainedpodcast.com. So you connect with us and listen to some of the replays as well. And definitely for us to move forward ahead in the journey and year of this year, 2025, family. Blessings to you all.
All right now, 24 Karat Gold Bars drop indeed. Family, thank you for listening to the episode. We definitely want you guys to get the comments. Let us know your thought about breaking these cycles, especially dealing with self-sabotaging. So sabotaging of yourself, boundaries, and moving forward to doing a reset. Family, you know what I'm going to say. Love is a action word. While you're taking the time to love yourself, make sure you show love to someone else. And we'll see you on the next episode of Living Unchained Podcast. So, family, I want y'all to take care and